Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to close out my June monthly budget. I do want to mention that I did break one of my nails, so I'm wearing a band-aid for the time being. Don't mind that. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. This is probably going to be a longer video since I have to do quite a bit of things. So in order to close out a monthly budget for me, I first have to weekly check-in for week 5. So I'm going to go ahead and track the last expenses that I made in the last 3 days of the month, so from the 28th until the 30th. Once I'm done with that, I will go ahead and close out my sinking funds here. I will subtract all of my transaction amounts from the beginning amounts that I have here and then get an ending. And then I'll go ahead and come back to the monthly budget to check out how I did with my variable expenses. And that is going to be today's video. I typically film these every single month. I don't think I've ever skipped a month, just because I think it's very important to close out and look at the end of the month how much you've spent and how off you were from the budgeted amount that you set in the beginning of the month. As you guys know, I set my monthly budget at the very beginning of the month, so it's nice to know how much money I actually ended up spending by the end of it, and if I have any unbudgeted expenses, if I can maybe change the amount on some of my categories and kind of just look at patterns. That's really why I budget. And of course, at the end of the day, I want to be able to save the most amount of money. I think that's all of our goals here, and to possibly have that financial security that we all want. So yes, let me stop rambling and lay down my budget expense stickers. I have 3 of them here. I do have an unbudgeted expense, and I will mention that in 1 second. I have here a Chick-fil-A expense, so an eating out of $28. I went to Chick-fil-A with my aunt, so I paid for that. And I also went ahead and pumped gas on the 29th. So I only had $16 left in my gas cash envelope. So, and since it does take $40 to fill up my tank, I did have to, have an unbudgeted expense of $24. So I was over by $24. Which I could go about this in various different ways. I could count it as just being over budget in my gas category, or I can count it as an unbudgeted expense. I didn't think I was going to need. I typically don't pump gas more than once or even twice a month, and this time around, as you guys can see, I pumped 3 times because of various reasons. I had trips going on this month, as well as I had family over, so I did want to take them out and all of that good stuff. So I'm just gonna count it as an unbudgeted expense, but you can most definitely count it as you being over budget in a certain category in your weekly check-in. So you can do whatever you want. Those are all of the expenses for the last 3 days. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down my no spend sticker on the 28th. Since we are at the end of the month, I also like to track how many no spend days I got in 1 month. So I'm going to just lay this down here and count how many no spend days I have. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which in comparison to last month, I had 10. So I'm really happy that I had more no spend days this month with less days, 30 days. So that's exciting. And now I'm going to bring you guys to the weekly check-in and write out my categories. So I have my cash envelopes here. Up first is groceries, household, eating out, allowance, beauty, gas, and unbudgeted. Here, and then we'll make dashes here. You know what? I'm changing my mind now. Just because since it is a category in my budget, I would like to see that I was over budget in that. specific category, especially when I go ahead and transfer it to my actual numbers in my monthly budget. So I am going to go ahead and change it. It honestly just depends, but if I do have a category, I would want to essentially just have. But since I don't have any more of the gas plum paper stickers, and I actually just changed into a new planner for my 2021 to 2022 budget planner, I'm not going to go ahead and just grab another sheet. So I'm just going to leave it like this, but I will count it as it being a gas expense or being over budget in gas. So I didn't spend anything for groceries this week. I really thought I was going to end up going to Trader Joe's, and I didn't. So I'm ending the month with $133 remaining for groceries, which is super crazy. And I can't believe that actually happened, but I really was under budget this amount, and that makes me really happy because, of course, by now you guys know that I am moving out, so I definitely want and need to save in all the places that I can save money at. So that's perfect to see. Then for household, I still have, or remaining, I have $31.43, which is also amazing. For eating out, like I mentioned, I have an expense of $28 for Chick-fil-A. So $28 spent, and last week I had $34.50. So that means the remaining I have $6.50. Nothing for allowance or beauty. So these are still $8.43 and $8.17. And then for gas, like I mentioned, I am going to go ahead and add the two numbers together. So $40, and I only had 16. So that means that I am over budget by $24. I'm just gonna go ahead and use the marker that I've been using. So over budget by $24, and then in the unbudgeted section, I'll just put 0 since I already tracked that here. So the dash will go right there, and that is the weekly check-in part of this video. Aside from the gas expense that I had, I do think I did pretty great. I would like to say that this was the best I've ever done, just because of groceries. But let's take a look, because I did go ahead and, yeah, I definitely overestimated the amount that I was going to spend for groceries, since I think the month before this, I was giving myself $245, and I gave myself $300 this month. So I think that's one of the main reasons why my grocery spending was so low, because I gave myself so much in the beginning of the month. Aside from that, household, this is great because I will have things to buy for my next apartment. And then these are, you know, pretty good numbers. It's not a ton of money left, but I will definitely be rolling over all of these amounts, with the exception of groceries, to next month's cash envelope, so for the month of July, for this month now. So that is that. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out my sinking funds. I'm gonna take a quick little picture here as reference so that I don't have to flip back and forth. And I think I don't even have to zoom you guys in. The next thing I do with my allowance cash envelope is I go ahead and transfer it to my allowance sinking fund, just so that this way I'm able to save my money if I want to, or use it up to. I've done that the past few months. So for allowance, I am rolling over $8.43. So that is what I'm going to add in here, $8.43. And now let's make some calculations. For adventures, I started with $59.19 and added $500, but then I spent $324.22, $183.76. Sorry, I did this a little backwards. So in total, I spent $507.98 out of adventures. For allowance, let's see, I spent $32.85 and $13. So a total of $45.85. I am ending with $20.76. Amazon Prime, I spent $119. So all of this. I've mentioned this in my July sinking funds video, but I'm actually taking this category out and just making it a business expense instead of it coming out of my personal budget now moving forward for the next year. So I'm going to make a 0 here. There's nothing left there. Cart maintenance. Oh, I didn't mention this, but I did have one last transaction for my sinking funds in the month of June, and it was for some cart maintenance on the 29th for $100. I got an oil change. I haven't had any cart maintenance in a while, so I definitely needed to get my oil changed, and that was $100. So I am ending with $115 here. Next card payment, I don't spend anything, or card tags. Those are due, I believe, in December or Christmas. So these are still $373. This one is $146. And this one is ending with $691 with 50 cents. Next, for clothing, did I use all of my clothing money? I did not. So I gave myself $100 and I spent $92 with 30 cents. So that leaves me with $7.70. Costco, nothing. So that is 30 remaining. 0 for date night. That is 40. Electricity, I did not pay for that this month, so 0. And I did not have any transactions for entertainment either. So this is 167 with 33, and this is ending with $79 there. For gifts, I believe I spent the full $200. Let me just double check. Yes, I spent the $200 that I added. So I am ending the month with $0, or I ended the month with $0. Next, for medical, I did not spend anything. So that means that remaining I have $339 with 61 cents. Right, yes, 39. Miscellaneous, I spent $12.20 for my miscellaneous category. So that means that I am ending with $33.44, and then 0 for my Peru trip. I think those are all of the transactions. Let me just double check. Yes, those are it. So this is ending with, of course, $1,200. Those are the numbers. Now I'm going to go ahead and now add all of these. So total up the beginning, what I added, what I spent, and what I'm ending with for my sinking funds. Beginning amount was $3,360 with 45 cents. What I added this month was $1,011 with 43 cents. What I spent was $1,077 with 33 cents. So now I am ending with $3,294 with 55 cents. And now I'm just going to go ahead and double check. So let's add my spending and subtract what I added. Yes, so this is the amount, and all of these ending numbers should be the same as my beginning numbers in the month of July, and they are. So everything looks good here, and this is how I close out my sinking funds. Now that that is done, as well as my weekly check-in, I can go ahead and close out my monthly budget. I don't have anything else to show you guys or really talk about here. Everything is pretty much done. I don't know if I mentioned this, but my variable income sources this month were YouTube, Patreon, Share Sale, and Amazon, which I'm very, very thankful for. And I didn't have any other expenses aside from my usual 2 that I have for my YouTube channel, and then I had some shipping expenses, but that was pretty much it, which is great to see because once again, your girl is trying to save some money. So I don't think I showed you guys, but I do have the cash from my beauty and my allowance envelope, since they're both $8. One of this is going to go towards my sinking funds, and one of this is going to be, I'm going to be rolling over to my beauty cash envelope for the month of July. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on the side. The other envelopes that I will be rolling over are going to be household and eating out. So since I am rolling those cash envelope amounts over, I am going to write the actual number the same as the budgeted number. So then that way we're at 0. The only cash envelope that I won't be rolling over is my groceries, like I mentioned. So for groceries, I was under 133 with 9 cents, meaning that the actual amount that I spent was $166 with 91 cents, which is definitely the least amount that I've spent for groceries since I've moved into this apartment last year in August. So I think this was my best month so far for this category. Very, very proud of myself. Then for household, all the way to beauty, it'll be the same amount as I budgeted for them. So household's 100. So no variance. Eating out is 150. No variance. Allowance is 100. 250 for beauty. For gas, I was over $24, so that means that my actual was $104. And then the variance is negative 24. My phone bill, let's take a look. My phone bill was $71.81. So variance is 19.19. Internet was $69.99. So no variance there. The gym cost me, let's take a look, $72.98. Since I had to pay for the annual fee. So that is 0.02. And then for unbudgeted, I'm not marking that since I already included it in my gas section, so I'll just put 0 there. And then for Father's Day, I did budget $60 and I was over budget by $15. So I spent $75 in total. So 75 is my actual, and that means over budget by 15. There you go. So of course, since I was under by so much in groceries, that will cover these unbudgeted expenses. And I think this is officially my best month yet with my budget. I believe so. Okay, let's go ahead and add up all of my actuals. 471.81, 69.99, 72.98, and $75. In total, I spent $1,160 with 69 cents. And let's go ahead and add up my variances. 133.09. I'm gonna add all of the positives first, and then subtract my negatives. So that means that I was under budget by $94.30. which is great. Of course, I do owe it all to my groceries cash envelope, but I'm really happy that although I did have budgeted expenses, or I did go over budget in some categories, I'm still under budget by quite a bit, almost $100. So that's pretty good. That is how I would go about closing my expense section in my monthly budget. Of course, since I don't disclose my income, you guys won't see what I do next, but I will explain it to you guys just so you guys can get an idea. What I'll do next is I'll go ahead and write out my expected and actual income. So all the money that I brought in for the month. I can go ahead and write out the actuals for my variable and fixed expenses. So I will do that for variable. So then by having my income here, I'll subtract my expenses from that income, getting a remaining amount, which I will then put in this little squared off pattern box. I will label it that I want it to go towards my emergency fund, since that is my main goal for the year, although I am going to be dipping into it for moving expenses. But yeah, this is where I will put the total amount that will be going towards my savings. And with that being said, that is basically going to be it for this June budget results video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed going through my whole process of closing out a monthly budget. If you guys enjoyed this video, as always, please do not forget to give it a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already. And hopefully I will see you guys on tomorrow's video. Bye guys.
A million people in the crowd, but I only see your face in all the lights. And as the bass keep pounding on me, baby, I really wanna